Greetings, beloved Princeton United Methodist Church community. It's Pastor Jenny with another update for you. Scripture this week comes from Luke chapter 4. I'm going to read verses 18 and 19. This is Jesus speaking. He says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." This is the word of life. Thanks be to God. We'll read more of that scripture on Sunday, of course. And this is an introduction this week to a new sermon worship series that we are entering into. And we're going to focus on this idea of Jubilee. I know that from the responses we've gotten from the vision draft that we sent out to you all, this concept of Jubilee is one that's not very widely known. Now, we were going to do this series. We've known we were going to do this series for months, partly because of the emerging vision, but not just because a lot of people don't know what it is. This was already going to be part of what we were talking about regardless. But I know that the word Jubilee might stir up lots of different images for you, most of which probably aren't scriptural and probably aren't about Jesus. But this is a tradition, the Jubilee tradition or concept comes from Leviticus. When Jesus talks about the year of the Lord's favor, Jesus is referring, and the people who Jesus would have been talking to would have known that he was referring to the concept that's present in Leviticus chapter 25 and surrounding that. And there are lots of pieces that come along with this idea of Jubilee. You'll remember, perhaps, that the book of Leviticus is a book of the law. And so it's interesting that Jubilee, which is really very much about freedom and about celebration, is found in the book of the law. But even the law is less dire and dour than we often think about it. The law, when it was first given to the Hebrew people at Mount Sinai and thereafter, was really about shaping a community of people, giving them boundaries, giving them guidelines, teaching them, shaping them into a community that functions well together, and especially one that had been enslaved. They were people who had been under the rule of Egyptian life and as slaves, as enslaved people, and now they were free. And they had to create a new set of rules, a new set of boundaries. But that's very different when you're doing that as free people versus oppressed, enslaved people. And so this Jubilee idea, this Jubilee concept, this Jubilee practice comes in the midst of the law that is creating people to live together as God's people. And built within it is this idea that we are all meant to be free in God's grace and in God's love and for each other. And so there are several different concepts. We're gonna be in this series for quite a while, for several weeks, because there are lots of parts to this, and we want to take our time. So we're going to talk about ideas like joy and Sabbath and freedom and forgiveness and justice and celebration and abundance and shalom. And so each of those just needs to be broken open in some big ways, and collectively these things are what we mean when we're talking about Jubilee. Now back to Jesus for just a second. Jesus was all about this ministry, right? He was all about joy, and Sabbath is a big thing for Jesus. He takes it differently than a lot of the leaders in his day did. Freedom, forgiveness, justice, celebration, abundance, shalom. These are marks of Jesus' life, of Jesus' ministry. And this passage that I read from is like his signature, mission statement kind of thing, where he talks about how he's going to live his life. So we're going to break that open a whole lot more on Sunday, but I wanted to just give this quick introduction to you. And I wonder, as you think about the word Jubilee, maybe you want to go back to Leviticus 25 and look at some of the passages around that. Maybe you want to read the rest of Luke 4 and see more of what's going on. Maybe you just want to hear those 2 verses that I read again. And I invite you to just observe what happens inside of you, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, in your body, in your heart, in your soul, when we name Jubilee and when we talk about these different pieces that come along with it. What does it stir up in you? What questions do you have? What resistance do you have? What connections do you make to your own life and your own experience for yourself? How do you relate to that particular way of looking at Jesus or about the law? So I just invite some of these kinds of reflections for you this week. One thing that is exciting about what just happened last week and that is happening this coming week, this past Sunday was Pentecost. I love this season, and I'm so excited that we're doing this Jubilee series during the season of Pentecost, or the season after Pentecost, technically. And but we had confirmation, and we confirmed 3 of our young people Sunday evening at an outdoor service. That service is archived for you, and I would so encourage you to go back and you'll hear some of our young people sharing music and sharing some of their own commitments with you. One of our confirmands, Lena, was ill on Sunday, and she couldn't, not COVID, but she was ill all the same, and she couldn't join us for that service. So we're going to confirm her this coming Sunday. So we're going to have our normal, regular Sunday service online, as we have been doing, but right after it, we're going to kind of add on her confirmation to this service. It's a little strange, but this is one of the ways that we're adapting during this time. The confirmation service itself takes a while. It's about 20 plus minutes. And so even if you're just doing it for one person, and so we didn't want to rearrange the whole Sunday service to fit that in, but we're going to do that for her after the service is over. It'll be live streamed. You're invited to stick around. We'll make that announcement after church. Compassion Camp is going to kind of start with the confirmation part, and then watch and be a participant in Lena's confirmation, and then they'll shift over to their regular programming as well. But you'll hear more about that through Evangeline's communication. So I hope you'll join in. I hope that you will welcome our young people, William and Jax and Thomas and Lena, into the congregation in some kind of personal way. I hope you'll encourage them. I hope that you will be led by them. They are incredible, gifted people who have much to offer and many ways to lead us into continuing to say yes to God, as God has said yes to us. So I leave you with that. Evangeline is going to have lots of other announcements in the email that comes with this. I'm not going to name all of them today, so read your email and take care. See you soon.